Welcome back, everyone, to Not Your Advisor with NYU Grad. It is Monday, April 1st. Hope everyone had a great weekend. If you celebrate Easter for a holiday, hope that was a safe and happy Easter for you and yours. If you're curious, we went out to a show in New York City. There's a new performing arts center downtown by the Oculus, Wall Street, like World Trade Center area. We saw a solo performance by Lawrence Fishburne. It's very intense. He goes on for over 2 hours during the performance. There is a 15-minute intermission, but he walks through. He plays himself, but then he also plays influential people within his life, like his friends, his lawyers, a car wash guy in New York, his mother, his father. Very emotionally charged performance. It was the last showing, so you can't catch it anymore. But if they reprise the performance, I would highly recommend checking that out. But very intense, not child appropriate. But I digress. I hope you all had a great weekend, though. Let me know in the comments what you did if you're not too shy and you want to share. But let's jump right into the numbers here. And we're starting a brand new quarter, brand new month. But we only have like a week left before Armageddon. I think every single article about the April 8th eclipse is it's the end of the world and the second coming of Jesus or Thanos will land on Earth. So we only have a week of trading left. I'm just joking. But how did the first session of the quarter and the month pan out? Let's run through the numbers here. So looking at breadth, we had 733 new highs versus 136 new lows. We had 29% of stocks advancing in the NYSE versus 68% declining. And looking at the 50-day moving average, 35% of stocks were below the 50 and 31% of stocks were below the 200-day moving average. Now, it was pretty bearish when you take a look at kind of the heat map of what was up and what was down. We did have a few mega cap tech names in the green. Namely, you had Google up 2.79%, Meta up 1.19%, and you had Microsoft up about 1%. But you had also Adobe down 0.5%, Apple down 0.85%, Amazon was up marginally, up 0.33%, 0.33%. Nvidia was flat, and I'll go into that a little bit more. The biggest green area of the day were the other semiconductors like Broadcom, AMD, Qualcomm. They were all about 1.5, 1.8% in the green. But you had Micron, which is MU, ticker symbol MU, up 5.44%, which was one of the strongest of the sector. And then you had many others in healthcare, consumer defensive, all red. So I'm talking Walmart, Costco, Procter & Gamble, Coca-Cola, all red. Then you had healthcare names like Eli Lilly, J&J, Merck, Pfizer, AbbVie, Amgen, Bristol Myers, Gilead, UNH, all in the red. Then you go to financials, and you had Visa, MasterCard, JP Morgan, Bank of America, PayPal. You even had Berkshire Hathaway, all in the red. Then you look at home improvement names like Home Depot, down 4.06%. So it was, not the best day. And if you ask me what held up, why did the Nasdaq close up in the green? It was really about Amazon, Microsoft, and Google, and some of the semiconductor names that are ancillary to NVIDIA. And when you take a look at NVIDIA, it struggled all day today. And we were really struggling with that $900 level on NVIDIA. If we lose 900, we're going to potentially test a March 8th low of like 850-ish range. And wow, if we better hold that, because if we lose that, that is pretty much the end of the bull market. I mean, if you want to just watch one thing all day, it's not the S&P, it's NVIDIA. Couple things I also want to cover today. What was really on my mind, and I'll cover this obviously in what was strong, what was weak, but taking a look at names like Reddit and DJT. Now, I cover them just in my what was strong, what was weak, for entertainment more than anything, for bullish sentiment, animal spirits. But I did warn you all to stay away from these type of things. Meme stocks, right? Reddit came out by Morgan Stanley. They were the underwriters. We IPO'd about a week ago. On last Monday, it shot up to $74. This was like right after my Reddit losers and Reddit winners podcast. And then in 4 days, it went from $74 to $45. And then you take a look at DJT, which is Truth Social with Donald Trump. It went on Monday from like $40 to $79 by Tuesday. And from Tuesday till today, it went from $79 to $45. So very similar path as Reddit. The reason I bring this up, and I've brought this up multiple times in the past, the entire point of investing and trading is to play the infinite game, right? You look at like Charlie Munger, Warren Buffett, you look at, Jamie Dimon and all these bigwig names on Wall Street. They're not playing the quarter-to-quarter game or how much they can make in a day or a week. They're in this for the long haul, generational wealth. And it's really important to keep your losses small, because once you pass that, I would say 7 to 8% loss, it becomes incrementally larger as you lose more. What I mean by this is, and again, this works to your favor to the gains as well. So what I mean by that is, if you lose 10% of $100, you have $90, right? You've lost $10. In order to break even, you need 11%. If you lose 20% of your $100, you have $80. You need to make 25% to break even. If you lose 50% of $100, you have $50. You need to make 100% gain to break even. Okay? So a lot of these names like Reddit and DJT are down 40% right now from the highs. If you bought the high, you need to make 67% to break even. If you lose 90% of your $100, you have $10. You need to make 900% gain to break even. That is why lately my stop losses have been less than 2.5%. Because we're so overbought. Typically, it's like 2.5 to 4% at most is what I'll risk on a trade. And why do I do that? It's because of this math. This math is not taught at NYU Stern. It's not taught in high school. It's probably taught in some schools, like in third, fourth grade. It's just basic arithmetic. Uh, but no one talks about it ever on Bloomberg, CNBC. And you should print this out. And whenever you have a trade that goes against you, like you can set your own limits, but let's say it's 5%, right? You have to sell if it's going against you. Oh, but NYU grad, what if it goes back up 300%? If it goes against you and you get stopped out and you see the price structure reverse back to the upside, you just buy back. Nothing stops you from just getting back in. And you've seen me do the same thing on like my meta trade. I was playing the breakout. I got in 3 times. The 4th time I chickened out. I took like a $4 profit. But it's fine. I could simply just get back in. And if I held onto that position, I would have been down. I took a gain, and I'm waiting. If Meta breaks out above 523 on volume, I could just simply buy the stock. What happens most of the time with psychology is you'll buy something, let's say in this case Meta, at $500, and it goes against you, you're down 5%. Oh, it'll come back. You're down 10%. Oh, it'll come back. Your financial advisor or your friends might say, hey, you can average cost down and buy more on the way down. And then you're down 20%, down 30%, down 40%, down 70%. And you're like, hey, it can't go to zero, right? That is the psychology of all of this. You want to keep your losses small, less than 7% for sure, because around 7% is where it becomes incrementally harder to break even. And it also helps you to the upside. What do I mean by that? Well, this shitface bought Nvidia at like $33. Yeah, great, right? I sold it at like 150. But let's say I didn't. All right, some of you, God willing, bought at 33 like me, and they're holding it at $900. You're up thousands of percent. So when it goes from 900 to 850, you're not panicking. Right? But if you bought it at 950 or 1,000 or at the peak, and it goes to 850, you're shitting bricks. So that's why not only are entries and exits important, but keeping your losses small is really, really important. And where in the price location you buy is obviously very important as well. But let's keep going. So what was strong today? Let's look. BOIL, and these are all percents, okay? If you're new, I don't like to say 11%, 5%, 5%. Like, I don't want to say percent 1,000 times. So I generally talk about prices in percentage gains or losses. So BOIL, which is a natural gas ETF, up 11.12%. Uranium, URNM, up 5.74%. UNG, up 5.63%. DRV, up 5.4%. I believe that is a real estate inverse ETF. Volatility index, the VIX, up 4.92%. Dell, up 4.85%. ACMR, up 4.04%. TBT, which is the inverse of bonds, up 3.91%. SRS, which is also inverse real estate, up 3.64%. SOXL, which is inverse of the semiconductors, up 3.14%. SOXL is the bullish semiconductor, up 3.14%. Google, up 3.02%. 10-year treasury yields up 2.92% above 4.3, which is also a headwind for bulls. TZA up 2.92, LVS, which is Las Vegas Sands, up 2.86, SMCI up 2.69, Red Rock Resorts up 2.47, ASML Holdings up 2.32. All right, what was weak? DJT, Trump Media, down 21.47%. Reddit, RDDT, down 6.79%. Affirm Holdings, down 6.52%. Coin, down 4.91%. Marathon Digital, down 4.21%. Etsy, down 4.19%. MicroStrategies, down 3.98%. RH, Restoration Hardware, down 3.88%. Kura Sushi, down 3.29%. Wayfair, 2.99%. PayPal, 2.93%. VinFast Autos, 2.89%. Natural Gas, down 2.79%. AI, 2.43%. Ally Financial, 2.46%. Lennar, 2.42%. Kava, 2.36%. TLT Bonds, down 2.19%. Monday.com, 2.16%. KR Regional Banks, down 1.97%. What to watch? You're gonna have Jerome Powell talk again on Wednesday. My gosh, how many times is this guy gonna talk? But Tuesday you have factory orders, job openings. Another Federal Reserve Governor, Michelle Bowman, speaks at 10:10 a.m. Cleveland Fed President Loretta speaks at 12:05. San Francisco Fed President Mary Daly speaks at 1:30. Jeez. Wednesday, you have ADP employment at 8:15 a.m. You have Fed Governor Michelle Bowman speaking again, 9:45 a.m. ISM services at 10, and then Jerome Powell again at 12:10 in the afternoon. My God. So yeah, this is all about central policy and central planning. For free members, thank you for joining. And I will see you all after the Tuesday session. For premium members, please stay on.